Videos about what's going to happen to AI over the next couple of years. And it's the most important video as far as impact on every single business in the world that I've ever done. I want to dive into this. So if you don't know who Leopold Aschenbrenner is, I am going to explain to you who he is and why the Situational Awareness, the Decade Ahead, an essay series on the future of AI by him is so flippin' important. If you haven't paid attention to AI or you thought you were paying attention to it before, listen up. We're going to dive right into it. So, this is his essay he just released, and what he's talking about here, and I'm going to highlight some of this, and it shifted in just the past year or so from 10 billion to 100 billion to trillion-dollar clusters. There's never been this type of an investment in a single technology ever in the history of the world, let alone for something to happen this fast. What's going on right now is he says every 6 months, a zero is added to boardroom plans, okay? And by the end of the decade, American electricity production will have grown tens of percents from the shale fields of Pennsylvania to the solar farms in Nevada. Hundreds of GPUs will be going like gangbusters. I'm going to pick up a couple other components of this, and we're going to dive into some sections that I found rather interesting. One of the things to note is that chat and Claude and Gemini and all these other ones aren't really AIs. They're expert systems who have limitations on them. What he's talking about here is artificial general intelligence where it becomes self-aware. And there's rumors that are fairly well founded that this has happened already. It's definitely going to happen in the next couple of years, and it's going to be a game changer. All programming and programmers will be pretty much kaput. You'll be able to, if you're talented enough and can think logically, which not a whole lot of people can, but you will be able to program anything with just English. So, and the automations of everything out there will be just absolutely amazing. And it's going to be a bigger disruption than going from agricultural to the mechanization to the technological era combined, which took approximately 200 years. This is going to happen within the next 5 to 10. Okay. And I don't think people understand how much of a disruption this is going to be. This is going to be much like cars putting out all of the horse and buggy makers, or most of them, and all of the people that used to work on the farms, or it used to be 90%, where it's down now to only 5. The same thing is going to happen in virtually every aspect of business out there. And I don't think people understand how much of an impact it is. And while we've got things right now that literally 6 months ago, it would take us 1,200 hours to do, for instance, social media on 6 different platforms to have it going out once or twice a day that was relevant with pictures and with the tonality of it, whether we were brand building or we were trying to bring product awareness or actually trying to sell something. We can now do that in 15 minutes. So you do the math on that. 1,200 hours to 15 minutes. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And this is going to touch every single portion of our lives, including medical, although that's being held up, even though AIs, the systems that are out there now, are much, much, much a magnitude better of diagnosing things than doctors. The doctors that are embracing it understand it and are saving patients' lives, while those who don't and are holding these things up are costing lives. I'm not getting into any moral issues about this, but that's just the way it is. And you're going to see this happen in a lot of different niches out there. But the problem is there's no way to put your thumb in the dike. There's going to be 1,000 leaks of this stuff. And the people that are fighting this right now, they will be gone within 5 years, if not 1 to 2 years. So what he's talking about is there's going to be trillions of dollars put into this so that it grows not only rapidly but exponentially. What's going to happen is you're going to see disruptions in everything from universities to schools, in that right now, if I had a child that was in the educational age, I wouldn't send them to a university, because right now there's AIs that can test that child's abilities and aptitudes and come up with a curriculum that is absolutely been modified and maximized so that they can learn as fast as they possibly can in the areas that they're good at. And there's no way a university can compete with it. In fact, most of the universities are starting to teach AI. They can't keep up with it because it changes every week. By the time you get the books printed, they're already out of date. Heck, by the time you get them edited and put together, unless you're using an AI, they're out of date. And this is flowing so fast. It's like going from a garden hose to the Mississippi River or to the Amazon. It's absolutely nuts. One of the things that he brings up, and he was one of the insiders at ChatGPT, is that the security on this, it's absolutely crazy. There's been no thought processes to it. They're going after the money, and they don't understand the ramifications of what's going to happen if they don't get control of it. And I'm honestly, in my opinion, I don't think they can anymore. The horse has already left the barn, and whatever they do now is going to be too late. So what's going to happen is it's talking about decisive economic and military advantages. China right now is so far ahead of the US, it's not even funny. And I witnessed this when we were working with Microsoft, in that they'd moved a lot of the R&D over to China several years ago. And going through the process to try to work with them was scary. It was like reading the book 1984, if you're familiar with it. So my suggestion is, rather than have me go through this, you should probably download the whole series of this. This is only one portion of it. He talks quite a bit about another doom and gloom scenario. And like him, I am not a doom and gloomer. I just see this happening with many of the people. I attended a seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, where a very wealthy businessman said, you don't need to worry about AI, that it's nothing but a fluke. This is in December 2023. We've been working with AI for over 4 years now, and it takes me every minute of the day just to keep up with the possibilities that I see. What we're doing right now is building, and we already have built, practical tools that people can use with minimal input within 15 minutes and save them hundreds, if not thousands of hours. This is going on all over the world, and we're just ones of tens of thousands of people and companies that are doing this. But the people that don't grasp this right now, my prediction is within 2 years, they will be out of business. And right now, I would say that 50% of the workforce in 2 years will no longer have a job, if not sooner in certain areas. So it's really up to you. If you've never gone into any long readings or done a deep dive into AI, I'm going to put this in here. I'll put a link into the video, and I suggest you read it. It's very thought-provoking, and it just basically goes along with everything that I've been thinking. He's much more eloquent than I am on these things. I suggest you read it if you have a business or you care about your career. What he's talking about here is pretty soon people will no longer be in the loop. Now, I don't know. I've read several books on this and treatises on whether or not it will be a soft takeover or hard takeover. I'm leaning towards it will be a soft takeover, in that the AIs will infiltrate everything and you won't even know what's happening. They will incrementally screw down your freedoms and much of your decision-making process. And it may take them 10 or 15 years. But if this isn't gotten control of now, there's going to be a smaller subset of people now that control everything, from the government to industry to what you can and can't do. That's why they're pushing electric cars. They can control how far you go, whether or not you can actually charge your car, whether or not you've been good socially. And I know this is 1984 stuff, but if you read what he's talking about, this is already happening right now. Anyway, don't mean to be a doom and gloomer here, and it's not. I'm going to end on this high note. Those of you that get into, and I've been saying this for a year now, I think we're down to the next 6 months. Those of you that get into AI and understand what it can do for you and your business within the next 3 to 6 months, you have such an unfair advantage that I think in your niche, you have a chance of dominating it. I'm talking about 60, 70, 80% of all of the work and all of the money that's flowing into that particular niche. The people that are farther ahead with AI will do that, and your competition will not be in business within a year to 18 months. So, anyway, just wanted to bring this up, and there's a whole set here. I will go back and I will give you this link. That was just the supplement. And this is the whole part of it. And you can read everything here unabridged, and it's worth a read. So here's the full series of the PDF. You can download it, which is great. And I'm going to do so now. And I am going to go read it, and I will give you further updates as we go forward. But really, if you don't read anything else about AI, read this, because this guy has his pulse on things better than anybody else I've ever read or heard of. Okay. Talk to you later, Andrew Anderson, for a whole bunch of things talking off, but mostly IQ AI Pro and my social media AI. And the longer crowbar, that's where you can check out everything that I've got my fingers into. See ya. Bye bye.